Damn, I look insane. Once again, your girl back with a spooky story. Hold on, I should probably turn on the lights this one. Oh. Once again, we're back with another short, spooky story time. I feel like the last one was a little weird. I don't know. I feel like I didn't... sometimes I feel like I'm not a good storyteller. Because I'm always jumping off topic, or I'm just like stopping midway, just like... I suck at storytelling. But it's okay, yo. Alright, enough of that. I'm always overthinking. Disclaimer. These stories that I'm about to tell you might be different from the original because I'm saying it like secondhand because I've been told these stories, but my brain, my dumbass, just I don't know what goes on in his brain, but it like maybe mixes the story up and it might be different from what I've been told. I don't know, y'all. I can't fix that. So without further ado, get your snacks ready because we're about to go. This story I'm about to tell you, it was told to me by my father. And for y'all don't know, I'm Mexican. My family comes from Mexico. And Mexico they're really true believers into like the paranormal stuff, you know, paranormal, the spirits, demons, you know, entities. They believe in that sort of stuff. So this story was told to me by my father, and my father was told this story by his uncle. This happened to his, not to his uncle, but his uncle knew. See, I told you these stories are passed down. So as I said earlier, disclaimer, these stories might not be as 100% accurate as the original story, so don't come at me. It happened to an uncle who knew this bus driver. I'm assuming this was in the 70s, you know, this whole story, or maybe even older, 60s in Mexico, 1960s in Mexico. So, as you already know, there's no phones, you know. It happened in Mexico. So my parents my dad's from Querétaro, and I'll probably show you guys a little map. Querétaro, and my mom's from Hidalgo. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. So between Querétaro and Hidalgo, I've been told that there's like a route in order to but in Mexico, it's really common to see bus drivers. A lot of people don't drive. So people use a lot of public transportation buses, and they're big buses. There's bus stops. They come pick up people at certain hours. Like every hour a bus comes in, that bus, and I'm kidding. So my father's uncle knew this bus driver who he knew the route. And besides, not anybody can drive buses, especially in pueblos in Mexico, like towns where they're like isolated and stuff. They're literally like in the middle of the mountains, you guys. Over there in Mexico, there's areas where there's just like some people live within like the mountain regions, or like hills. They're very slopey. They're very they're not really safe, you know. There's no concrete in these roads. They're just pure dirt. And so, but these bus drivers are willing to like pick people up because there are people that work. Not everybody has especially in towns like Mexico, there are pueblos, towns that don't have like local works. So a lot of people have to work to the city. They have to take a bus, which depends how long. Usually they're really long. They're 2-3 hours into the city, and they have their jobs there. This is the story of the bus driver. He picked up people really early in the mornings. He would come into these dirt roads early, like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. type of, that was his job. He had to pick up people early and people had to go to work early. That was a very daily routine. He's been a driver for at least more than 50 years. Usually his route is always in the morning. He does the morning routine and he goes back to the company where he works at in the city, and he's about to clock out, you know, because it was his time. He's been working from morning. He needed to rest for his next shift later, until his boss comes up to me. He's like, hey man, you gotta can you work the night shift today?
No.
I feel like I should name these characters. Oh my god, let's call the bus driver Ricardo. Ricardo was like, hey man, I mean, I'm going home. I can't be doing overtime. Like, I gotta go to sleep. But his boss was like, hey man, if you do this job, I'm gonna add like extra pay for your next check.
Damn, what is that, bro?
Since there was an extra pay, Ricardo decided, why not take the night shift? It's just for one night, right?
So that was a fucking lie.
I feel like I should have clarified this in the beginning. Where this story takes place is in between Querétaro and Hidalgo, and I've been told that there's like in the border, there's like a really crazy intersection. You say it's a bunch of like, I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably gonna double check my facts here, but yeah, it's a really risky road. There's into the border to cross, like from within those states, and that's how the story is. It's like the bus drivers use that road, and they say, I've been told a couple of things, that there's like a weird vibe between that border, because I think there's a church there from like it's a really old church from like, I'm assuming the 30s, because because those were like the missions from like the colonizers and all that, you know. That's another story for another time. And the bus driver is taking that road. As always, there's always nothing there. I mean, as I said, there's nothing different. He's always been taking this road for so many years. He's been working for this company for like what, 50 years, so long. He's an older guy. Let me say, he has to be at least in his 60s and during that time. Oh my god, I lost my train of thoughts. I'm sorry, y'all. So he takes this road, as I said, the one in between Hidalgo and Querétaro, that intersection, and it's gotta be late at night. All the people obviously in the bus are sleeping. They're knocked out. They're tired after long days of work, and so is the bus driver. The bus driver is tired, man. He's been working that night shift, and as I said, he's an older man. Obviously, sleep will get to him, and he's almost falling asleep while driving, until all of a sudden in his like sees a red figure standing right in the middle of the road where he was driving. He completely stops. He stops the bus just in time that he doesn't hit the figure, which happens to be a person in a red suit. He looks at the man, probably one of the most gorgeous men he's ever seen in his life. He stops the bus, and surprisingly enough, nobody woke up from that sudden abrupt. Glad that nobody woke up from that, because otherwise he could have been reported to his boss saying that he was a reckless driver, you know, all that so forth. So he was relieved that nobody woke up. So he finds this person standing in the middle of the road, just red suit, smiling at him, and he's just like, what is happening? Remind you, this was in the 60s maybe. The bus driver gets off, Ricardo gets off the bus, And he walks up to this man. He is much taller than he initially thought he was when he got closer, and really pretty up close. And he asked the stranger in the red suit, "Hey, why are you standing here in the middle of the road? Do you need a ride?" I don't know why Hispanic people are like this, y'all. They talk to random strangers. The stranger, on the other hand, didn't seem so fazed, and instead just smiled at his, at his kindness, and said, "No, no, you didn't hurt me. Everything was fine. Where are you headed to?" Like, he started asking, and Ricardo didn't seem to question why there was a man in the middle of the road. Nothing happens on the first night. Ricardo's just like, "Okay, I guess I just need to pass through this road," because it was, as I said, it was the entrance of the border. I did not say that. Did I say that?
No.
I did not say that. It was the entrance of the border into, I don't know if it was Querétaro or Hidalgo. I'm butchering the story, y'all. I am so sorry. But, yeah. The stranger's like, yeah, go ahead. And the stranger just walks into the woods, just like that.
Oh, hell no!
Everything started to click to him. He was just like, hold on, why was there a random man in the middle of the road just standing there? He found it odd, but he didn't really question it as to why. So he just continued off. He dropped off people, and he went back home. So a couple of days passed, and once again, he does his morning routine. He goes, picks up his client, the workers. He drops them off. Now he's about to end his morning shift until his boss once again pulls up next to him. He's like, "Hey, Ricardo, once again, Fulano de Tal cannot come. Do the night shift. Can you do this night shift again?" And Ricardo was like,
No.
he was tired. He was like, "No, like I don't want to do it, yada yada." And then his boss was like, no, I'll triple the amount I gave you last time. Okay? He was like, I'll promise you, I'll pay you triple for just do this night, just one time. He's like, "I promise, I won't ask again." Ricardo was like, at first he was like he wanted to reject the offer, but triple pay, especially during that time, it was, your money was money in that economy. And so Ricardo, despite being tired, despite already feeling his body sore and all that, he decided to accept the night shift replacement. And he, once again, he does what he did the first night. He picked up everybody else and all that, and he was absolutely tired. And remind you, he is an older man, so at that time you start feeling like tired, you want to sleep, you want to rest, and he's been working the night shift. And I know driving isn't that easy, and especially in those roads, as I said earlier, it's dirt paths. So the dirt paths are like this. Some of them are just like, they're crazy to drive into. And Ricardo was tired. And he, once again, just as he's about to enter the border into, as I said, I don't know if it's Hidalgo, Querétaro. Guess who he meets in the front of at the end of the road? In the middle of the road, I mean. Who do you think he meets in the middle of the road? Yep. Once again, he sees the man in the red suit.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
And Ricardo just starts saying, "Oh, it's you again. Like, did something happen?" He starts questioning. Like, "Do you need a ride?" Like, "Do you need a ride?" That's all he could really ask of him. And the man in the red suit was like, "No, I don't need a ride." He's like, "I'm just, hanging around, just not doing much, just enjoying the night." And Ricardo just he just wanted to go home. Ricardo was just tired. He was like, oh, he's like, okay. He's like, can't really sit down and chit chat. I really gotta go home, you know. Like, I gotta take these people back to their neighborhoods. And the red man in the red suit was like, yeah, of course, no problem. And once again, he asks, is the bus full? And Ricardo says, yes, the bus is always full, but I mean, you could still, if you want to ride, you can still take a ride. I won't charge you. And once again, the red man in the red suit rejects the idea. He's like, no, I don't need a ride. He's like, it's fine. And just like that, he just says, have a good night, and he disappears once again into the woods. Yeah, Ricardo started to get the hint now. He didn't tell anybody about this during that time. He didn't tell his boss. He didn't tell his wife, his kids, no nothing. He just kept that story to himself. And he goes, as I said, weeks pass, weeks turn into months, months pass, and Ricardo starts feeling tired now. He wants to retire already. He does not want to work, and he's already like working for his last month, and he's just gonna retire for the rest of he's been working. And he does it okay. He does his usual morning shift. He goes, picks up people early. He drops them off. He's about to end his morning shift when once again his boss comes up to him. This is the third time. His boss says, Ricardo, can you please take the night shift? He's like, this is the last time I'm asking you. He's like, as a favor, as a friend, fulano de tal cannot make it to the night shift for yada yada reasons. I want you to take it. He's like, I will not only triple your pay, but I'm gonna give you like a good like farewell gift, and like for your hard work for this company. Like, he was like gonna give him like an extra bonus. And Ricardo was swayed by the money. He decided, all right, I mean, this is my last day. So Ricardo decides to accept the night shift one last time. Yeah, this is where shit starts getting down. Continues down the road, nothing, and he can see up front the border of the entrance into, he was forgetting, I don't know if it's Querétaro or Hidalgo. But he stops because he sees a familiar figure at the entrance. He manages to stop in time, and just as he gets close, when his bus gets closer, the lights flash, and they once again show the man in the red suit. Once again, he meets the man in the red suit, standing there in the middle of the road, smiling at him once again, like as if he was seeing an old friend. Ricardo can already, he feels dread. Unlike his previous nights with this man, he felt dread. He felt his shoulders start pushing him, like he felt pressure. Ricardo slowly but carefully gets out of the vehicle. He approaches the man in the red suit. He never really paid much attention to this man's features other than the striking red suit that he always wore. But this time he took note of something else. This man's eyes, they were red. So the man in the red suit decides to ask him, he always asks them the same question, is your bus full? Ricardo was like, yes, but he always responded, but if you need a ride, I won't charge you. You can still come in. Once again, the man in the red suit rejected the offer. He's like, no, I don't need a ride, but I do need something from you. The man in the red suit just smiles. He simply just smiles. But that's when Ricardo notices the way his eyes have started to glow. The man in the red suit points at him. What I want is your soul. This man in the red suit, smiling at him with big red glowing eyes, just had asked him for his soul. Ricardo just starts shaking his head like, no, I can't offer you that. I can't offer you my soul. The man in the red suit just smiles. Said, that's fine. If you don't want to give me your soul. He points at the bus. Those people's souls, I want all of them. Ricardo finally nods and says, okay, you can take my soul. The man in the red suit just smiles. He's like, wonderful. Then, I will take it when I need it, is what the man in the red suit says. And off he goes into the woods. And so, in the ongoing days, when Ricardo retires, he falls in sick. And that's when he remembers the man in the red suit's words. He said he will take his soul when it's needed. And now he understood why. The man in the red suit wasn't the devil. He was the Grim Reaper. He only told this story in his deathbed to his son and his wife. He told them that he had met the Grim Reaper and that the Grim Reaper had warned him, had told him that he would take his soul. And just in a few hours, Ricardo passes away into his bed. For me, that story felt like, I felt like it was more sad. It's up to you guys whether you guys want to believe it or not. As I said, disclaimer, I'm telling these stories based off on like experiences from other people, what I've been told, so they might not be 100% accurate, so don't come at me for it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more spooky stories, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more spooky stories. I also react to like short horror films, and I play video game Roblox horror games. It's Spooktober, y'all. It's Spooktober. I gotta get into the vibes. And so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.